Is this a little loud or is this perfect? Hello. Good afternoon, club. Good afternoon, club. Yeah. Nice to see everybody. Welcome to the Oakland Rotary Club, the third oldest club in the world. Over 42,000 Rotary clubs in this world in over 200 countries. Hello, club. Hi. Hi, Barbara. Welcome back, Barbara. Hello, my friends, Zoomers. I see Deep. Wonderful. Linda. Oh, dear, Mike. I'm not wearing the good glasses today. Peter, Christine, Keith, hello. Deep, nice to see you. And everybody else that I can't see the small letters, welcome. Everybody check in, social media, where are you today? You're at the Rotary Club of Oakland, Thursday lunch meeting. Please check in and share often. So, do we have any guests of Rotarians in the audience? I know we have a couple. Will Hobbs. Oops, can't hear you. There we go.
Can you hear me? Thank you, President Shannon, and good afternoon, Rotarians. I'd like to introduce my dear friend and former colleague and native Oaklander, Jim Mars, who is the first vice president with Amalgamated Bank.
Thank you for coming, and he also came to Boca Nova. Nice to see you.
President Shannon, hello.
Welcome back.
Dave Cannon here, and I'm very happy to have my parents here, Sue and Daryl Cannon.
Woo.
And they served in the Peace Corps in 1965 in Iran, so they're very interested in today's event.
Woo. Community servants in the house.
Hi, good afternoon. Tom Limon. I'm here with Alfonso Blanco with New York Life, who works with Ralph Sklar. It's his first meeting. And also Kaheri Gutierrez with the Unity Council, who's our meeting sponsor.
Wonderful. Welcome. Who also came to Boca Nova. Thanks. Good to see you again.
President Shannon, fellow Rotarians and guests, I'm hoping this is okay, President Shannon. I was going to introduce our speaker's guests today. First is Martin, who's her husband. Please welcome him.
Hey, Martin.
And we're also honored today to have Andrea, her daughter.
Andrea, welcome. All right. Any other? Oh, good.
Hello, Carrie Clausen with Clausen Engineers here. Today we have Felix Sanchez. He works for Touch Design Build in construction, and we trust him enough to have him work on our houses.
Wonderful. Welcome.
Hello, everybody. I'm Kathleen Uribe, and I brought two guests today. We have Jason, who is a branding strategist, Jason Rivera, and Eduardo Reñena, who is a janitorial business owner. Welcome.
Fantastic. Welcome. Woo. All right. Any more? Any visiting Rotarians today? I don't think we have any visiting Rotarians. All right. Anybody online that's guest or visitor? I don't think so. I think they all look like ours. All right, now it's time for our thought for the day and a flag exchange from Jesse Schmidt.
President Shannon, I am pleased to present you with the flag of the New York Rotary Club number 6 that I just visited recently on a trip to New York. First time I've gone to another club and had a great time. I got to brag about being number 3. They're very proud of you about being the 6th oldest chapter there, so I got to one-up them on that one. So,
thank you so much.
Happy to be able to hand that to you, Shannon. And so many of you know me as the health and fitness guy, and my thought for the day is that if you ask me, what the best things are to do to live a long and healthy life, you might think that I would tell you to eat healthy food or exercise or sleep full nights or jump in a cold plunge or a hot sauna or something like that. But actually, the number one thing that I can recommend for you to live a long and healthy life is to maintain meaningful relationships. This is, outside of your genetics, the number one thing you can do to make sure that your life is enjoyable and that it lasts a long time. So I would like to, my favorite way to maintain relationships is by expressing gratitude. If you ever had a gratitude practice, it's very fulfilling. So I'd like to invite each of you, if you would like to take out your phone and send a text message, an email, a little message to somebody and just thank them. Somebody you've been meaning to say something to, somebody you haven't followed up with in a little while, and just say thank you, or hey, let's grab a coffee or something like that, and just keep that tie strong. So that's my thought for the day. Thank you.
Thank you, Jesse. And I encourage you, one of the benefits of Rotary is you get to go to lunch anywhere in 200 countries, and they have fabulous hospitality, and they will love having another Rotarian, so please do. I wanted to say happy birthday to all of our October birthdays. Ruth had a birthday yesterday. Happy birthday, my dear. And I also wanted to recognize the holiday Rosh Hashanah, so I think that's important that we appreciate that fantastic holiday. And we also have the good fortune of having a sponsor for today's meeting. So with that, Tom Lamone, you're up with your sponsor.
All right, good afternoon, everyone. So today I have the privilege of introducing Kaheri Gutierrez, who's the Director of Communications and Public Affairs for the Unity Council. Just a quick poll, who knows about the Unity Council? Who's been to their Dia de los Muertos festival? All right, great. Last year we had an altar, and I had the privilege of working there for 10 years during the early 2000s, and it's been great to see the vision of the Unity Councils come to life with their real estate development around the Fruitvale BART station, and Kaheri's here to share about the 60th anniversary and also what's happening with Dia de los Muertos this year.
Thank you, Tom. Let's give it up for Tom. Thank you all. I am so excited to be here. As Tom mentioned, my name is Kaheri Gutierrez. I'm the Director of Communications and Public Affairs with the Unity Council. All right, I sent over some slides. If we can project those, that would be amazing. Okay, beautiful. So I'm here to talk about Dia de los Muertos. So next slide. Many of you raised your hand, so you're familiar with the Unity Council, but this year is a particularly special year because we are celebrating 60 years of service. We have been around, thank you so much. We have been around for 60 years supporting Latino communities, Latino families to thrive in their neighborhoods, to preserve culture. One of the ways in which we are doing that, next slide, is by putting on our Dia de los Muertos festival. Dia de los Muertos in Oakland is the second largest Dia de los Muertos festival in the state of California. Yes, it's the #1 largest Dia de los Muertos festival in Northern California. So we bring over 100,000 folks to the Fruitvale footprint to learn about our culture, to celebrate our culture, and to learn about the Unity Council and many communities and businesses that are thriving here in Oakland. So I would love to invite all of you to consider, next slide please, supporting the Unity Council's Dia de los Muertos Festival. We are looking for sponsors, dedicated sponsors that can help us to realize our vision. This year's theme is reflecting, rejoicing, and reinvesting, celebrating the Unity Council's 60 years of service. So sponsorship opportunities begin at the $5,000 level with amazing benefits. They go up, next slide, all the way to $50,000. This will be for our presenting sponsor. Next slide. So far, we have been able to secure amazing folks to sponsor, and I'll show you that. Another way that you can support the Unity Council is by volunteering. So if any of you have connections to networks, young people that are willing to volunteer their time, please share this information with them. Next slide, please. Okay, this is my contact information, so if you are interested in supporting the Unity Council as a sponsor, as a volunteer, or even making a contribution to our mission, please take out your phone and take a picture of my contact information. I would love to be connected with you all. I would love to share some information, and I hope to see you all on November 3rd, 2024, from 10 a.m. to 5 p.m. in the Fruitville for our Dia de los Muertos Festival. Thank you so much. Gracias. Tom will also send an email with more details. Thank you.
So why does someone get to promote their event? Because they're a sponsor and they paid $300 to spend 3 minutes shamelessly about your events. So if anyone wants to sponsor the meetings, please do. And that event is fabulous. We had a table or a shrine last year. It was fantastic. My first time, loved it. Mary Jiang has some another exciting invitation for something at our district to learn more about how to have impact at Rotary.
Good afternoon. Hi. I want to tell you about another event. Would you please put the next slide up? For the Avenue of Service. This is an annual district meeting that's taking place on October 19th from 8 a.m. to 1:30 p.m. And Rotarians from all the district gather at this place to learn about projects that other clubs are doing. I mean, our club does a lot of projects in 10 global grant and local community service. But it's good to find out what other clubs are doing. And then they also tell you travel opportunity, international travel opportunity by joining their club on their community service project. So please, it starts at 8 o'clock. There's a breakfast and there's a lunch, and the fee is $50. However, if you sign up with Jesse Bowder, the club will pay for your $50 fee. So yes, Virginia, there is such thing as a free lunch. So, and then I hear there's some people that's interested from this club, and we may do a carpool. So please put that on your calendar, October 19th from 8 to 1:30. Thank you.
Thank you so much. And it's really an amazing way to learn more about Rotary and learn about how other clubs are doing things. I want to do a quick shout out to the Boca Nova party and the A's tailgate party, one of the best tailgate parties ever. And everyone that put together the Boca Nova event, we had over 100 people come. Who went? Was it fun? Hello? Bravo. Great time, 47 guests, and a few are actually here today. Great job. The tailgate party was epic, so thank you very much for all that hard work. All right, we are ready now for some magic. Bringing on a new member. Barbara Beery, please join us with your new member.
Yes, we should thank Bill for his patience. We met about 6 weeks ago and talked about his joining Rotary. And he said, I want you to introduce me. So I said, well, I'm going to be gone into Nepal and India for my HPV projects. So he's very patient. I am very happy to introduce Bill Palmer. Of course, my phone just cut off. Bill is an executive coach for major corporations and serves pro bono for nonprofits and other NGOs. His coaching focuses on relationships, on leadership development, with attention to diversity, equity, and inclusion. His life partner, Yan Shui, is a nurse born in China who was an inspiring caretaker when he had throat cancer a year ago. Bill was born with clubfoot, which is the most common musculoskeletal birth defect in the world. Did you know that? I didn't know that. He was lucky to get good care and has been functional during his life, in contrast to many youngsters in low and middle income countries who do not have access. It's completely curable given access to care. He wants to give back, so he started a nonprofit called the Clubfoot Fund, which will increase funding for care of children with clubfoot. So you can see he already has a history of heartfelt dedication, and please welcome him.
Welcome, welcome. All right, Bill, we have a goodie bag for you. And it includes your new badge. I'm always bad at this. See, there's his new badge. Look at that. Here's your new badge. Red badge means your new. Gold, turn it blue after you get involved and learn more about us. We have an amazing book of the first 100 years of our club written by Linda Hamilton. We have your roster with 250 of your new besties, Rotary handbook, and your four-way test. Four-way test. Is it the truth? Is it fair to all concerned? Will it build goodwill and better friendships? And will it be beneficial to all? Everybody knows those, right? Welcome.
Thank you.
Awesome. We look forward to having you here. And a blue bag. Great. Thank you. And then after a bit, he'll get scheduled for a 3-minute introduction where you'll get to know him better in his own words. So with that, I'd like another announcement to come up with from Carrie. Fleet Week.
All right, who likes pancakes? All right, I would love to see all of you on the 13th of October on the Red Oak Victory Ship in Point Richmond. We'll have a pancake breakfast, tour the ship, live band, and then after that we're going to go for a hike along the Richmond waterfront, see how many water birds we can see, and then return back to the Victory Ship. If you would like to do this, please reach out to me, but in addition, you do need to buy your tickets through the Red Oak Victory directly from their website. So if all the brochures on the table are missing, there's some in the back, and they have the website where you can get your tickets. I'd love to see you.
I know Tom's done that before. Has anybody, oh no, anybody done the Fleet Week event? It's in San Francisco? Awesome. I want to do it. I don't have time. All right, we have another incredibly important event that we do all the time. I did it last year. Please join us, Allison. Saturday.
Hello, Rotarians. Wow, we have a lot going on, don't we? We have beer pouring and hot squad activities and our PAL Camp Service Day, which is this Saturday at Roberts Regional Park. So if you've ever helped with a service day, could you just raise your hand, please? Wow. All right, well, why haven't you guys all signed up for this Saturday? We only have 8 people registered right now. We need 12 more of you. Please sign up. Bonnie will be at the back with some information to get you to the sign-up page. It's this Saturday from 9 a.m. to 12:30 p.m. We have a lot of fun. We only do 4 service days for our Community Service Committee. We have a fabulous committee, don't let them down. And this time, while we're having fun, you can make a huge contribution to this camp without even opening your checkbook or Venmo account, all right? So we're asking you for something with no cost. Wendy Takuda is our leader in the environmental work that we're doing there. And it's at the PAL Camp, Police Activities League, PAL Camp. And you can register on Rotary's Eventbrite page. There are 2 waivers that need to be filled out and printed out and brought to the camp with you. And then you'll get directions and all the information on our Eventbrite page. Jesse has sent out many emails about this, so if you haven't found it yet, go search your email. And here's a surprise. You may not know this, Shannon. Wendy Takuda found an article showing that Rotary built this camp as a tribute to our 56th anniversary. Pretty cool, huh? So we need you guys to protect this special icon for the club. Please sign up, especially for our new member and guests. If you want to help us out, this is a great way to get to know some of the Rotarians. We're just going to be cleaning blackberry bushes, and Kathleen Uribe is doing a lovely food grazing spread for us. So please sign up. On Google, just go to Rotary Eventbrite, and you'll see all the things. Thanks.
And pulling weeds side by side is a great way to get to know each other. So please come. It's hands-on volunteering. Let's do it. Other hands-on, this is a great, great experience that is going to be shared with you by our Rayburn couple and wheelchair exchange.
Hello, everyone. Peter, can you put the presentation up, please? 5 of us went from Oakland. We missed a lot of you. Maybe next year you can go. So good afternoon. We are here, Robert and I, to share our experience in Mexico City. Next slide, please. We were greeted by a huge group of people who had tons of energy. They were grateful, they were appreciative, and they were very welcoming to all the Rotary clubs that came. We gave about up to 250 wheelchairs were distributed. Next slide. Oakland Rotary members are greeting Graciela Inés and her appreciative son, Simitrio. This wheelchair was going to allow Graciela to go longer distances in her trips and activities outside of the home. He was extremely proud of being a competitor in the national Mexican sport called charreria, which is similar to our rodeos. So he wanted to share a picture of himself and his daughter with me. Next slide. Mary visited with Hadassah Lilith, who I think received the smallest wheelchair there. Also, Robert wrote a short message on Eusebia's certificate. She also wore the traditional traje from her village in Jalisco. Next slide. It was really heartwarming to greet everybody there. Many of them had traveled up to 2 and 3 hours in a bus to come to the event. And the word that I heard multiple times was the day was a miracle. Next slide. Miriam and Fanny knew that their lives had changed forever with the receipt of this new wheelchair. They could now travel outside of their home, and they were enjoying the larger world around her. Robert, you're up.
Thank you, everyone. The packed auditorium that Pat presented was on Saturday. Next. On Friday, we began unloading and unpacking almost 250 wheelchairs. Next. Then we began assembling the wheelchairs alongside our Mexico City clubs. I became expert at assembling the Conga Model 2000 reclining wheelchair. And the slide on the right actually is some of our Mexican club members that they were so delightful. Next slide. I can't overemphasize how hardworking and organized the volunteers from Distrito 4170. They were tremendous people to work with. Every chair was assigned a recipient that they brought to the Basilica. Next. The leaders, Tokyo Calderon, he's a membership chair for Distrito 4170. And on the right is Richard Flanders and his son, Ryson. Richard's a past district governor for 5170. Next slide. Here I'm with our host, the Firmex president. That stands for Fondo Unido Rotario de Mexico, or the United Foundation for Rotary in Mexico. And this is Reiner John, who was a delightful individual who gave us a lot of, made it happy. And finally, next slide, District 5170 in Mexico City. They're from San Jose, they're from Hollister, and of course, Oakland. We thank you, and we bring gifts to Shannon, the banner for Linda Vista. There are, again, 17 clubs in just the state of Mexico City. And the,
Platero Centro Histórico.
Centro, sí. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you so much. Great job. Perfect. I have to tell you that wheelchair distribution is one of Rotary's really finest hours. And what I learned when I did it in China and Guatemala was it's more than the person that gets the chair. It's mostly for the person that pushes the chair, because those caregivers can now take their grandmother out of the back of the house and bring her in the patio, bring her out to dinner, take her downtown, and the caregivers are given the gift of mobility even more than the person in the chair. And it's an amazing experience if you ever have a chance to do it. We do it all over the world. And we do it with local Rotary clubs that work as hard as you guys do. This is not Americans running around. This is Rotarians partnering with Rotarians everywhere. Awesome. Okay. Okay, this is my least favorite slide. I'm going to talk about the four-way test, and not the four-way test. I'm going to talk about fiscal responsibility and our dues. We had dues payments go out, and they were due on July 31st. And at least 40% of us haven't quite got to that payment button. And it's amazingly important that this club is a nonprofit business, and we do have a ballroom to pay for, staff to pay for, and it's very important that we please get your dues paid. We also only have 38% people on monthly payments, and we should all be on monthly payments before we force it on everybody. So please check with Jesse and get on monthly payments so we don't have to worry about the bill collecting. And so we're going to do some calling, but it'd be great if you could spare us the call and just take care of that lovely duty of paying the dues on time, please. So we have Rotary Club dues and we have philanthropic opportunities. They're separate. Rotary dues pay for the ongoing expenses of running a club. So please take care of your dues. And we're sending out another statement. If anything is wrong with your statement, we've been doing an amazing job, Pam Clausen and the whole team, bravo. If there's something wrong, we apologize. We're cleaning up after COVID and lots of years of getting back on track after the pandemic. So please, if there's anything wrong, it's not personal, we'll fix it, just call us. Crickets is not good. All right, so that is, there we are. It's time for our program. This is exciting. I have the blessing of meeting Judith Guskin and her husband a couple of years ago, and their daughter is in my neighborhood and is a big community contributor, and Andrea's here today. So Judy Guskin is an educator, an organizer, and a filmmaker, and so is her husband, and my good friend. In 1960, Judy had a life-changing experience when a young senator, John Kennedy, and his obviously John and the presidential candidate, spoke to students at the University of Michigan about the potential for an international civil service known as the Peace Corps. Judy was an early organizer of students willing to serve in the Corps, which led to meeting Senator Kennedy and sharing with him the petition of students wanting to serve. Ultimately, Judy worked in the new Kennedy administration with Sergeant Shriver, Sarge, the driving force behind the Peace Corps. She helped select the first group of Peace Corps volunteers, and then she herself went off to Thailand and volunteered herself. Judy refers to these years as the 2.5 years that changed her life. Later, Judy returned to DC and continued to work with Sarge Shriver in the new domestic Peace Corps program known as VISTA, Volunteers in Service to America, or the AmeriCorps, which it translated into today. She helped establish the first 13 training programs for VISTA. She not only helped to develop others, but she continued on her own personal educational pursuits and earned a PhD at the University of Michigan. So service is her passion. Thought she'd be perfect for today. Whether it's organizing bilingual efforts in different states, helping Hmong refugees in Minnesota, or tackling desegregation issues in Ohio. As a filmmaker, Judy has made documentaries about the Peace Corps, and as a professor, she's taught teachers about how to work with the refugee communities. Presently, she's involved in the More Perfect initiative, co-founded by John Bridgeland, a national program that declares, let's put service at the center of national renewal. So please join me in welcoming Dr. Judith Guskin to our meeting today. Now, you sure you want to do this way? Okay, so we're going to have an interview style. I'm going to be here, and she's going to have the podium, which, do you want the little stand?
Standing.
I mean, this little lovely. This is Mary's favorite.
I'd rather not.
Okay. I don't want to fall off Mary's
I
stand.
know I'm little, but I'd
Okay.
rather not take
All right, great.
a chance.
So come on over here.
Good. Hello, everybody. Hi, I am so honored to be able to share a little bit of my experience with you and to remind myself, hearing all of these wonderful programs that you're doing, that it continues, the flame is there, the caring is there, it matters. And I was really touched by the stories about the wheelchairs and so on. My life was changed by someone who spoke for 3 minutes, who didn't intend to speak, who came to go to sleep at the University of Michigan after the 3rd debate. The first time that debates were on TV was John Kennedy and Nixon. I was not involved in politics. I was a student of comparative literature, and I was curious. He was certainly better looking. He did well in the debate, but I quite wasn't sure. So thousands of us waited for him to come and fly in on a drizzly evening. The Dean of Women allowed the women to stay. In those days, you had to get permission from the Dean. And he spoke for 3 minutes. His speechwriters were hungry, so they didn't even hear what he said. Imagine that. He pointed to the crowd and he challenged us. And that statement in 3 minutes changed my entire life. He basically said, Michigan is not sending you here just to get a degree, to have a good life. You have a responsibility. You have a responsibility to the world. And then he talked very briefly about something that was dear to his heart. I didn't know it then. In fact, I haven't until recently realized what the spark was, why we responded. He was a senator, and he was traveling in Africa, and he met all the young people who were going to be leaders of 34 new countries. The end of colonialism. He actually paid out of his own pocket So those young people in Africa could meet together because they didn't have money to do that. So he challenged us. He said, you have skills. You're going to be doctors. You're going to be engineers. You're going to be teachers. Those countries need you. Something clicked in me. I hadn't thought of anything like that. That night, my ex-husband and I went to a greasy spoon, where we go sometimes, and wrote on a napkin a letter. That letter said, we're in. We like this idea. This is important. We're going to go. Join us. Call your friends. Write to your friends in other universities. Get going. God, this is October 14th, and now we're on the 15th, and the election is soon. Move. Do it. And we gave our letter to Tom Hayden. Some of you may know who he is. He was 18 years old and editor of the University of Michigan Daily. And he said at first, how dare you tell me what to publish? But then he published the letter, and the campus was on flame with inspiration. People took out paper and wrote about this and passed it in their classes. People came up to me and said, you can use my mimeograph machine. That's what we did in those days. The campus was inflamed with excitement, and 1,000 students very quickly signed up. We'll go, do it. It wasn't a new idea, but it was the response that mattered. Kennedy knew it, Humphrey had proposed it. We said we'd do it. We said we believe you, it's important. And that's why Kennedy decided to come out for the Peace Corps. He did this November 2nd at the Cow Palace right here in California before an audience of 20,000 people. And then I got a call that he wanted to meet me. So without any media or any crowds, I met with him. I showed him the names of the people who signed up, and told him that even if he wasn't going to do this, if he won, that we were going to make sure it happened. That's what I told Kennedy, okay? So that was my first movement into politics, in a way, and I haven't stopped yet.
Awesome. We have a couple of questions we want to ask. And there is a very blurry slide that shows her giving that petition to Kennedy, that Peter, I don't know if it's kind of blurry, but amazing. So another question would be now on to Sarge Shriver. You've told me about how Americans had to learn to behave abroad. There was a quote about breaking your mirrors. How do you mean that, and what did you learn?
This was a time that the Ugly American book came out, okay? Nixon said we would be a kiddie corps. There was a lot of pushback on Peace Corps. So the issue was, how were we going to behave? I worked with Sarge in the beginning of Peace Corps, and I worked with him later on as well with Vista. Sarge Shriver became our minister, our preach, our coach, you name it, okay? You can call it what you will. And there's a new book out, and I spent an hour discussing that online. It's a book by Jamie, why am I forgetting his name? I know it so well. Anyway, Jamie has a doctorate in philosophy and in religion, and he worked with Sarge during the latter years. I worked with Sarge during the younger years. The Sarge Shriver Peace Institute online has an hour discussion that we had, and I won't go further into the book, but it's a good read. Sarge Shriver wanted to be the best man he could be. He was very religious. Wherever he was in the world, the morning was prayer morning. And he felt strongly about service and certain things that really he thought were most important. Respecting other people and not being self-centered. So whenever he had the opportunity at conferences, he would tell us, and I became a volunteer as well, break your mirrors, take a risk, be open-hearted, be who you are. Listen to your partners. This is a partnership program. It's not you coming in as the wonderful American who can then tell everybody what to do. You have no idea. Learn the language well. And we did. We had language learning as an effective Peace Corps changed drastically in this country, in every university, especially in the Foreign Service, where 70% of the people at Kennedy's time did not know another language. So he kept saying, break your mirrors as much as possible. Be humble, be respectful, learn, because they're the ones who can tell you what they need. So I went to Thailand as a teacher in a very critical moment for Thailand. And it was Sarge's message that I had in my heart. I learned the language well. Dichan yang put Pasa Thai Dai Ka. I still speak Thai. I made friendships that are lasting now with former students, with my friends' grandkids. It was something that you need, and many, many Peace Corps people have those relationships still. So Sarge basically said, serve, serve, serve. Be humble, be respectful, keep learning. And he did one other thing as a leader that I do want to mention. He had a big tent. He said, I want the religious people here. I want the academic people here. I want that guy who doesn't agree with this guy. I want to have partnerships with everybody, because nobody, you know, what Sarge said to Kennedy when Kennedy called him and said, you know, I want you to take over this Peace Corps, right after the inauguration, right after. Sarge had just arrived home in Chicago. He didn't want to be Peace Corps. And he said, but Sarge, I don't know what the Peace Corps is. And JFK says, neither does anybody else. Do it. So Sarge said, let's figure it out. And he was so smart. I was so amazed and really inspired by the diverse people who came to help, to talk, to be part of the planning of it. I was lucky. I was in charge of Thailand. I was 21. I met the minister. I met the ambassador. I found out that they wanted expanding education was the greatest goal that they had. It was only 3 years education was required then. And so I got to be a volunteer in a wonderful new faculty of education at Chula University. And it was the best experience of my life because everyone treated me well, and I had colleagues who were inspiring me, and I had opportunity to invent things and participate in things that I never thought I would. So I learned a lot from Sarge. Somebody else learned a lot from Sarge too.
Yep, I think he's my next question. What's amazing about all of these stories is the key is inspiration and passing the torch. So everyone we speak to, we have an opportunity to inspire and to ignite. So you had your work currently with John Bridgeland, who served under the Bush and the Obama administrations. You've had a part in this multi-program to heal divisions that are keeping us apart. What motivates you to continue to be involved yourself this way?
Okay. There was somebody I want to mention, and his name was Senator Harris Wofford from Pennsylvania. He started with Ted Kennedy and John Bridgeland the Service for America Act he got through, and he was the CEO of the big project, which we now say AmeriCorps, okay? the national effort to have all of us, even the seniors, senior corps, get involved. Harris knew me when I was 21, and in the 50th anniversary of the Peace Corps, he met me at the University of Michigan, and he said, "Judy, I have to introduce you to somebody." That somebody was John Bridgeland. I didn't know him at all. John Bridgeland was the head of the Domestic Policy Council under George Bush. First of all, I should have mentioned he was a Rotary member. That was his first effort to see the world, okay? He had to deal with 9/11. Bush called him the conscience of the country, and he said, expand volunteerism, and he did it beautifully and extensively. Double the size of Peace Corps, set up a Freedom Corps, work with the firemen, set up a Corps for conservation. He set up many, many opportunities for service. So I met Bridge at the 50th, and he was charming and intelligent. He asked me to come to Washington. He wanted to interview me about my Peace Corps experience. I did that for 2.5 hours, and we became friends, and that was 13 years ago. Now he heads joinmoreperfect.us. He and Obama's policy council person, Melanie, worked together with hundreds of organizations already on 5 democracy goals. This has inspired so many, just by setting this up. He has inspired so many. 100 college presidents have signed in to something I'm working on, which is called the Institute for Citizens and Scholars. It's based in Princeton, New Jersey, and it works with fellowships and scholarships. And they gave me my first scholarship to go to college, and now they've asked me to be a consultant for the youth, for the fellowships. The 5 issues: civic learning, get it in the schools at all levels better than we have. National service, let's still go for it. He got the governor of Utah to put in money to really expand service and volunteerism. That's a good thing. Bridgeland was working with McChrystal, General McChrystal, a lot of others, to make service a real part of our culture. Keep that in mind. I still believe in it. Bridging divides. He has 1 Democrat and 1 Republican. Every time he sends me a memo telling me about a wonderful person who's joining up, I say, oh, that's the Democrat, now let's see which Republican is going to be there. He has partnerships to deal with elections and governance. He has all of the presidential libraries involved to give money and to do events on democracy, okay? Carter Center, all of them. And then the final thing he wants to do is get the truth out to the people where the people live. Save our news, save our newspapers. And he has $500 million already, and they're ready to give out money to any community that puts together a group for a grant. Will it be digital? Probably. Will it be paper? I hope so. Will it be better? Will it be engaging? Will we really know we can trust the news somewhere in our local area? I certainly hope so. So he has inspired me to do whatever I can in this project. I hope my story can inspire you a little bit to think again, to check on this online, because you're the committed, and it may not even be you, it may be your son, your daughter, your cousin, your neighbor. It all starts with listening to your neighbor and having civil conversation. So I am really excited by what is going on. I feel hope, and if there's any time we needed to feel hopeful, it's now.
Thank you.
Thank you for listening.
Oh my goodness, Judy.
I appreciate
Wonderful. Wonderful. We do have time for questions. Stay up here, Miss Judy. The last question I had, she actually answered about service creating kindness and understanding and what brings you wisdom. It's amazing to me to hear about civility from the podium, and if we aren't talking is the problem, and that's where this country seems to have gone, where we need to keep talking and be civil. So do we have any questions from the floor for Judy? We have a few minutes. Joe Goroka.
Judy, thank you for your very educational presentation and taking us back in history to hear how the Peace Corps came about. You know, people say that they wouldn't change anything in their life. There's two things I would have changed in my life, although I'm very happy with where I am. One is in high school, I would have done a youth exchange. And after college, instead of being so crazy dedicated to my career, which you took time away from, I would have liked to have gone to the Peace Corps. My question to you is, you mentioned something called the Senior Corps. Is there still an opportunity for people that are maybe a little older in age to still go? Thank you.
Actually, this was discussed at first because youth were the ones that had responded, but there never was an age limit, okay? Many Peace Corps people, by the way, have written books about their experience, and I'm reminded right now of one guy who was in his, I think, early 60s who went in even early on. There is no age limit. There is a sense that the Senior Corps, that's Peace Corps, service, of course there's no age limit. And so AmeriCorps has a Senior Corps. ARP is even doing things certainly worth, I'm an ARP member, obviously, and I'm amazed with that. There is opportunity. What I feel more strongly about than anything else is passing the torch. So I want to work with kids. I want to work with kids in high school. I want to get them to have experiences that will change them, that will make them better than they thought they could be. Because I think that's the key. If you have experiences of kindness and then you do something and then you see the result, I think that's the motivating thing that says, oh, I can be better, I can do a lot, I can be confident, I did something, I helped somebody. So I think, you know, as a senior, I want to find the younger people and inspire them, if at all possible. And that may mean anybody here going to a high school and talking, offering to talk, going to a high school group that might be the right group for you, and talk to that group. It will pass it forward.
Kind of sounds Rotary-like. Yes, David Stein. Oops.
This one works too if you want it.
There you go. Got it. With respect to high schools, we sponsor Interact clubs, so I would invite you to encourage you maybe to come talk to our Interact clubs, because I think they'd love to hear your story. Thank you for your stories today. You mentioned the Peace Corps increased in funding, I think during the Bush administration, you said. I'm just wondering, what's the status of the funding now? What do you see as the commitment of the federal government to organizations like the Peace Corps, to foreign aid? My sense is that all of that is retracting. And so I'm just wondering what you see.
Budget-wise, I am involved in trying to get some more money for the Peace Corps. It has not been well funded, and there is pushback on it. The Peace Corps now, well, first I want to say 250,000 people of us, including this couple right here who came to hear me, who had served in Iran, okay, they had their lives changed. So the impact of the Peace Corps is not even known. There are thousands of teachers and doctors and engineers and people who are dealing with climate, and when you find out who they are, you may find out that the Peace Corps did it for them. The Peace Corps now, without having any increase or very little increase in budget, Biden has asked for an increase, but it doesn't look like it may not happen, is being innovative. And all ideas, I think, are welcome. The leader was a volunteer. Carol Swan, who's now the head of it, was a volunteer herself, and that's a tradition. That's a tradition. I know many of the people who were head of the Peace Corps. In fact, I just joined Jody Olson, who's Republican, has Women of the Peace Corps League. Nice. Okay, so I'm going to see what Jody's up to. We've met, you know, I'll see what she's doing. But the Peace Corps is trying to be innovative. It's got an online program. It has a rescue group from return volunteers going around the world if there's a hurricane. It has shorter-term service arrangements. I am not totally up to date. You would have to go online and do some search about it. But I am impressed with the fact that they're rethinking how to get more involvement and how to do things in a new way, which is what we should do. If you have a congressman, of course, California has had the support from your senators, and that is wonderful. But, and many people in the Hill, many people in Congress, not so many, but many, have been volunteers. They're retired. I would just say, if you could tell your Congress people, again, please give Peace Corps a little bit of money, that would be good.
Yeah, very good. Thank you so much. As a gift for our speakers, we actually make a donation in your name for the efforts of Polio Plus that Rotarians were involved in 30 years ago to eradicate polio. And we've been volunteering all over the world to do so. So a donation has been made for Polio Plus.
I remember polio well. I had to go to a farm to escape it. I had friends who died. And I should mention health is key. I just want to say that Bridge, we call them Bridgeland, did the No More, Malaria No More effort. For $10, you get a net and you save lives. And they have almost gotten rid of it. Amazing. He traveled and visited Peace Corps volunteers.
Amazing.
And did that. One other thing
Bridgeland.
about this. There's a Rotary Club working with Peace Corps somewhere in the world. It's part of our aid project because what JFK wanted was to change our image abroad and the way we work abroad totally, okay? And now it's much more grassroots based. And Rotary is there as a partner in projects that our aid program is indeed doing as we speak.
Awesome. Well, we like to nudge in there and get involved with other people. Thank you again so much. That was very interesting, and I've learned a lot about Bridgeland, which is important to watch. David Stein, we have a speaker for next week. Can you tell us about it?
We do have a speaker for next week, President Shannon. Halloween is almost here, so why not? So what better time to be frightened? Next week, our speaker will be Oaklander Glenn Washington, who many of you may know from the wildly popular NPR series Snap Judgment that he hosts, if you listen to Snap Judgment. But Glenn is also a podcast host of Spooked. Spooked features true life supernatural stories told firsthand by people who can barely believe it happened themselves. Glenn will talk with us about how Spooked came to be and share amazing stories that will get you in the mood of the season. Come and be frightened at Oakland Rotary next week.
Wonderful. Thank you, David. I want to put a huge thank you out to the amazing Rotarians who volunteered and contributed to make this meeting a success. Our wonderful volunteers at the door and for lunch and all around. Please, everyone, do your part and bust your tables. And please meet and greet our newest member. And I want you all to go out in the world and make some magic. And they'll be waiting out in the back, over in the back. So make some magic in your community. This meeting is adjourned.